All right, so we're on our first long road trip with the camper, heading down to Texas, and we're making our first stop outside of Wichita, driving a few hundred miles, and we just got filled up 25 gallons. Oh, it's gonna be backwards because I'm using selfie mode, but truck did well, pulled it like a champ. All the tires stayed filled, the hubs stayed cool on the camper, and everything pulled really well. So I'll keep you guys posted on what the fuel mileage was and how the camper and truck does on the rest of the drive. We're gonna stop and camp tonight. Should be pretty fun. Let's get everything's going well. Pray for us. All right, so we got to our site, pull through site, and I was gonna put out the slide. There we go. Pretty sweet. We haven't put it out in a while, so this will be nice. Alright, now we can get everything locked up and ready to rock. Hey everybody, it's Austin, and we are in the bathroom together of the camper because we have a toilet leak, and we noticed this on our first camping trip, but are now finally on our second and need to address it now that we've got the slide open. So let me bring you along and show you how to fix a leaky toilet in your RV. All right, so here we are in our Keystone Hideout 2021 year model 186SS, and we have a Dometic 300 series. I think it's the 310 toilet, and I've noticed when we turned on our water last time, and we had used it to use the restroom a couple times, and we would get water around the base here leaking out, and I'm not sure if it's coming from the valve, which is that plastic piece right there, or that fitting, which I replaced under the sink because they had both cracked, or if it was the seal in the toilet here. But I know it's not that seal in the toilet because there was quite a bit of water in there throughout our drive and it never drained. So I know that seal is doing well. So what we're gonna have to do now is either replace the seal, the flange seal that's underneath, or come in from the back and replace the valve there, which is pretty easy to do, but because I'm going to be looking at the flange seal, we're going to replace both, most likely. All right, so in preparation for this journey, I hit up Amazon and ordered a new flange seal, a new valve, a seal that goes inside the toilet bowl, which is the ball seal, but ours is holding water, so I don't think that's the problem. Some grease that goes on the bottom of the ball seal, and some gloves. So I know that we're going to be addressing these two, so there's the ones we're going to get to use, and all you'll need for this is, I believe, a 7/16 wrench for the nuts that are on the toilet here underneath those caps to take this off, and then possibly some channel locks to get it that right there, but you should be able to do that with your hands to get the water line loose, and then a Phillips head screwdriver, which will allow you to take the screws out of the valve to pull it from the back of the toilet. Should be really pretty simple, but we're gonna go ahead and remove the water line from the toilet and then the nuts from the toilet to the floor so we can get it set over into the shower. All right, so this is where you can tell what toilet you have, apparently. And there's the valve right there with the two screws holding it in. So we'll just have to undo that female black coupler right there to remove the water line, and we'll be able to then undo the nuts holding us into the floor, and we'll be able to remove the stool. All right, so I don't have much room in here, so I apologize if my hand gets in the way of the filming, but we're gonna go ahead and remove this line here. And there shouldn't, oh, there's some water. Why is there so much? It should be empty. That's a lot. I gotta figure out why there's a lot in there still, and get that figured out before I flood this camper. All right, so since there's still water in that line, I'm gonna go ahead and just take off the bowl and replace this flange seal and see if that solves our problem, because I'm not sure why there's water coming out of that line. But it was a 7/16 socket for that nut. We're gonna go ahead and take those out and then slide the bowl just to the side here. All right, so I have the toilet scooted off there, and you can see there is water around the base, so I know that the flange seal is leaking. So we're gonna go ahead and tilt this toilet on its side so we can see access to the seal, and then just put it back where it goes. Replace those bolts because we've got them, and get this closed up so it doesn't stink anymore. All right, so I slowly took off the valve waterline connection and just allowed the water to trickle into a cup. That filled that cup up twice, and then that much, and I just emptied that into the sink. So now we have access to the underneath of the toilet bowl here, and let me show you where the seal sets. All right, so there you can see the seal is up around the flange there, and you want to make sure that the label on your seal that says this side down goes facing down towards the bottom of the camper. So we're gonna go ahead and put the new one on, and then put in our new flange bolts into those grooves there, so we can set the toilet on just new hardware because we have it, and go ahead and reinstall the toilet. It looks like for some reason the weight of the toilet was up here, which might have caused a gap down here, allowing it to leak, which this was on that side, and it was leaking this side. So that could be. Let's throw on the new one and try to get it aligned a little bit better than the last person did. All right, so the flange bolts are now put in, and I have the new seal on the bottom of the toilet here, and I cleaned off around the flange there. And I'm gonna leave this valve in place, but I'm actually gonna add in the screw there. It's missing a screw, and these are flatheads, so I'm gonna go ahead and put one of the screws from my new kit in there, and then I'm just gonna keep the extra valve I have just under the sink here as a replacement part, but we'll know that one of those holes was taking the new screw. Now we're gonna get this toilet set back on there, and we'll hook the line back up. All right, so the toilet is reinstalled, the new flange bolts put on, and everything's dried up, hopefully. Even got water seepage out here from taking that water line off. Everything is dried up, so when I turn on the water, I can, hopefully nothing leaks, but we are done for now, which is super nice. So if any of you guys are looking to do this yourself, it is an easy job. It's just super tight in a lot of these bathrooms to get behind the toilet, get the toilet pulled out. So I was sweating like a hog trying to get this done, but got it done. It didn't take too long. It's just really hard to get to things. So know that when you're going into it, but easy fix that you can save yourself some money doing it yourself, and hopefully keep your RV from flooding, because that's the main problem here. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for joining me in the bathroom today, and we'll hopefully see you on the next one. Check the links down below for everything I used in this video, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, folks, well, we're back at it because the toilet was still leaking, and it turned out to be the valve that I didn't replace. I just didn't want to waste the parts if it was still good, and turns out it was leaking. So had to tear the whole toilet back apart, and now we're gonna pull this out with these two screws and cut this crimp here using our, hang on, let me switch the camera around, it'll be easier. I'm gonna be cutting this PEX crimp using my crimp cutting tools that I also use to crimp the PEX lines like these underneath the kitchen sink. I'll tag that video here. But we're gonna cut that crimp and then put in the new valve and re-crimp it using the hose clamp that came with it, and we should be good to go. Alright, so I'm just undoing these with a nut driver and don't drop it down that hole. Should be able to press down on that. Might have to get a flat blade. Oh, I got the bottom one. Alright, gotta get a flat blade screwdriver, press down on the top tab right there, because I pushed in on the bottom one to pull this out. Alright, so now I got it crimped between my crimpers and the cutting feature, and I just squeeze. I should cut it. There we go. And it cuts off the head of the crimp so that you can get the rest off pretty easily. But I'm going to pull the valve out and then I'm going to pry this apart with 2 hands. But that's all it is. Then we'll put the new one on. Alright, so I got that hose clamped on there and I oriented it to where it was facing that way. So when I'm servicing it, if I have to replace it, I can take that off without removing the toilet, which would be really helpful. So now you just put it back into place. Make sure it snaps in. And then we'll put in our 2 screws, top left, bottom right, and then put it back on the bowl or on the flange and hook back up our water line and pray that it is good. I think we did it. The valve is fixed and the toilet is no longer leaking. I know you all were worried. You can go about your day. And if this happens to you, you know how to fix it. Just do it all at one time because it is a pain taking it off again. Although I feel like I know it very well. So, hope you guys have a good one. Have a nice night and thanks for stopping by.